Jonas, good to see you, man. Welcome to Pop Alternative.
Thank you for having me here.
I'm really excited because we're talking about your film Elio, which is in theaters now. And it's interesting, right? Because it's like at some point there's an audition and you find out about the project. How much do you know, like early on? Like, do you know it's a Pixar project? Do you know if it's like, space theme? Like, what do you know early on about it?
I'll give you a quick little rundown about how it all went down, right? So originally I got the script and it was like maybe 4 pages. It was barely the whole script. And it wasn't even called, it wasn't had nothing to do with Pixar. I didn't know who was directing it, and I didn't know it was called Elio. It was just an untitled project. And it didn't say Pixar on it. So I recorded the audition from my parents' closet, which has been the setup for the past however long I started voice acting. And I didn't hear back for about a month. And then I got a call later for a callback. That's when I got to meet with Mary Alice, Adrian Molina. And this was in the really early stages. And yeah, so this was for the Scratch role. And Scratch is like the temporary voice for the animators to animate off of. And then I didn't hear back for another month. And then they offered me the Scratch role. I did Scratch for about a year, but then the best news was when me and my dad were driving to an audition, and my dad got a call from Mary Alice. So we pulled into a strip mall, and he was just chatting to her, and she said, "We want to offer you the main role for Elio," and I was like, "Yo, that's so cool!" It was an amazing experience, and I was like so happy. But the craziest thing was like on the side, I looked up, there's a restaurant called Olga's Kitchen.
Wow.
Olga is, yeah, my aunt in the movie, which was crazy coincidence.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know, like, as an actor storyteller, are you able to kind of like, do you have to separate preparation wise, like live action versus something like animated where you're lending your voice? Did it all feel the same prep? Like, I'm just curious about that because you were also in Sweet Tooth on Netflix. So I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I think the difference is there's a very big difference. I think with voiceover, you have to like drink tea, get your lozenges, and like warm up your voice. And like, let's say you're doing a younger character, you kind of warm up your voice to be a higher or lower character. And the big difference is really just the acting. I think it's a lot harder to convey your emotions through your voice, and the camera is not on you. So it's harder to like maybe cry, for example, because they can't see your face versus like Sweet Tooth, there was some scenes that were complicated as well, like emotional wise,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit it's not as hard as it would be for like Elio, for example. But I would say both very great experiences.
What would you say was because I feel like challenges though are very rewarding, right? Like maybe there were certain kind of lines that were like what like were there any kind of obstacles in terms of the voice kind of acting with Elio? And I feel like how did you kind of overcome those things, right? Because there's a lot of different kind of emotions with this character, right, and everything.
Yeah. This whole movie is, I mean, an emotional roller coaster. I've been saying a lot because, I mean, Elio is very high energy and silly and crazy at times, and then like in a snap, he's crying like with
Yeah.
his best friend Gordon. And I think the challenges kind of just were going from that maybe in the same day. I remember like we had a scene where it was happy, and then we ended off on like a very sad scene when Gordon had to leave Elio. And Maddie Sharafian, the director, was telling me how I guess I stepped out, kind of centered myself, went back in, and I just got to an emotional state. And that was very challenging for me. But yeah, it was really fun as well.
Absolutely. I'm it's funny too because I know you try not to think about this as an actor because you're present with, the voice like lending your voice to play Elio and the voice booth and everything. But like were you ever conscious of the audience member like watching Elio while you were making it at all? Or is that something that happens a little bit after you rap, so to speak?
I think that's something that happens after because they weren't. I'm sorry. So you mean like when I'm recording, like they're
Yeah, do
watching?
you think about like, oh, the audience is really gonna like this scene or like this line? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. There were times because at the premiere, the world premiere for Elio, there I got to see a little bit of it in the beginning, and I remember just being like, "Wow, I really hope they laugh on this scene. I really hope they say like "aw" on this scene." And every single point like that I had in my mind, they did the same. Like I think my favorite part was when Elio just is saying bye to his aunt, and then just all of a sudden teleports into his cape and goes on his bike to the beach. Like that was super funny moment for me watching it for the first time. And I'm like, wow, I really hope they laugh on this one. And they did, which was felt so great.
absolutely. Um, and I didn't want to kind of ask just a general thing. You know, you've done kind of a Batman project, you've done a Pixar project. What's it like being part of those big worlds? Like, what's it like being part of those like Pixar Disney worlds and like these DC worlds? Like, is it something that like you think about a lot? Is it something that just kind of like happens? Like, what's that like for you specifically?
It's crazy because I mean, I when I was younger, I have pictures of me in Batman, Captain America costumes, Spider-Man costumes, like years and years ago. And then I have pictures of me watching Pixar movies. I mean, it's like the craziest thing to me because it's almost like I was just manifesting it all along, and now we're here. But yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful again just to for everybody at Warner Brothers and Pixar, Disney for trusting me to play all these amazing characters and um, yeah, there's so much work that they put into it, and it takes a lot of trust in someone to play this amazing character that they made,
Mhm.
and to take that and play that character is just it means the world to me.
Yeah. The conversations that you have with creatives on a project, I feel like happen at different times. Your conversations with, you know, the directors, is that a lot of conversations like before you go and voice Elio? Are there a lot of conversations like during it? Like what are the conversations? There's always going to be little kind of like
Yeah.
adjustments here and there, but like the big thorough kind of creative conversations, would you say a lot of those happen like before you actually go and rock all the voices, so to speak?
I think it happens with both because I
Yeah.
remember, Domi and Madeline, they were telling me a lot of stuff like, oh, so this scene, Elio's going through this and this and that, and this is how he's feeling right now, and they'll say that in the beginning, and if I'll do it, maybe is not exactly what they were looking for. They'll give me um, more detail in it, and props to them because I mean, there's directors sometimes that I've worked with, and it's a little bit hard to understand what they're saying because at the time I think I started Elio when I was 11, and I just turned 15 recently. And when I was a lot younger, it's harder to kind of understand what an adult is saying at times. And they did such an amazing job just uh, making me like helping me understand what they're trying to say. And I
Yeah.
think that's why there weren't as many super long conversations because um, they have like they're really great with direction.
And last question quickly before we wrap up. Elio is doing a lot of figuring it out. He's doing a lot of soul searching, self-reflection. I'm wondering, uh, from a storytelling acting perspective, what's it like playing or voicing these characters doing self-reflection that are lost? Because from the viewer perspective, they don't know they're lost. Do you find it more challenging? Do you find it more fun? What do you think about that, the lost component?
It is a bit challenging. I mean, I can relate to this all of the characters I played. Luckily, I've been able to relate to them in some sort of way. Like Elio, for example, he's feeling lonely, going through grief, and although I haven't had to go through those levels of grief, which I'm thankful for, knock on wood, but like during COVID, for example, like it was a very lonely time, I think, for
Yep.
any of us, really, for all of us. And I kind of just channeled that for Elio, and sometimes like when he's going through those grief. I mean, I've lost pets at times, and it isn't that level, but like when I was a lot younger, it felt like that level. Um, and not just for Elio. I mean, for little Batman, he's super energetic, and that's kind of just me in general, like energetic kid, outgoing kid. Finn Fox, he's a little bit more of an outsider. And I feel like a lot of the characters that I played, again, I can relate to them in multiple ways.
Absolutely. And, you know, It's so crazy that Elio is in theaters. Like it's so nuts.
I know.
Congratulations to
Finally, we made
you.
it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Jonas, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There's an Instagram account, right, that people can keep up to date with if they want to follow everything going on in Jonas's life.
Yep. Should I shout it out?
Absolutely. Shout it out.
It's hi Jonas underscore.
Hi,
Hi
hi,
YON.
Jonas.
Hi.
Well, this has been Pop Turnative, youtube.com/Pop Turnative for
Thank you.
previous episodes. Until next time, this is Jonas and PD Beats signing off. Bye, Jonas.
Bye. That's my new Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.